What's going on, everybody? So this is your review for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5, Episode 12. Really quickly, I was going to actually do this while grinding, playing Pokemon Sword, but I decided not to only because I know that I'm going to have some choice words, and I don't want to blend that over with that. So, yeah. And I need to give this my undivided attention. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm watching, I'm just going to give my coverage. That way I can spice it all together and get it out to you all. Because if I don't do it that way, you probably will. You're not going to get it. Because the Crown Tundra, which is a DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, comes out tomorrow. And that's getting all my attention. So anyway, here we go. So it starts off with Wendy. She's going to have a sip and see for her newborn daughter. Gonna do it Nigerian style. She says that she wants to invite women that her daughter can like look up to, emulate, and all the other stuff. That's gonna come up later, I know. Wendy's husband Eddie pretty much won't have any family coming. The way that Wendy is telling the story is that both her mother and his mother are pillars in the Nigerian community. They had a falling out, and his mother, I guess, felt intimidated and pretty much disowned him, and then caused the other children, to pick sides, and pretty much they ultimately sided with the mother. This is one of those where, I mean, here's the thing. If it's your truth, speak your truth, and like, don't hold back. But I don't know, given some of what's come out in the media, I don't know if it's all 100% true. And my question is, with the other mother feeling intimidated, is that fact, or is that just your impression, or is that your mother's impression that she has fed to you and now you believe it? Just asking. Because my thing is, if you really want your husband to be on a better page with his parents, more or less his mother, and have them to be able to see their grandchildren, I will probably pick more choicier, better words and phrase it in such a way that there's not a whole backlash coming to him, because what she says is going to affect him. So we pick back up with the Darbys in counseling. Ashley says to the counselor that they had an agreement, more or less them doing threesomes, and the agreement was they would do it together. But that hasn't happened, so Michael has been stepping out on his own. She doesn't want to do these acts anymore and says that she has changed, which is totally understandable. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I did say this in the video, but for those married couples that renew their vows every so often, it's a beautiful thing. Because, I mean, we all think about ourselves. We change. Some of us every day, but many of us every, month, couple of months, every few years, we began, a metamorphosis, and, we become a new person. So, of course, the person that you're talking to right now is probably not the person you were a year ago, 2 years ago. Maybe the person that they married is not that same person, and they should be recommitting themselves to the person that is now standing in front of them, because people do change. And I don't think that has necessarily happened. But what I didn't like is Michael continued when talking with to Ashley, and talking with the counselor, kept saying the baby, that baby, the baby. That gives me pause. Because why can't you just say Baby Dean? Like, not once did he ever mention the child's name. So in my mind, it's almost like he is speaking of the baby as if it's property, or as if it's something very insignificant, which it appears that's how it is to him. Ashley's a good one, because I'm just saying some of that stuff I would have had some things to say. Maybe not necessarily on camera, but like, really, the baby? That's how we're going to address. Oh, okay. All right. And then he goes on to briefly mention his father. And I think what he was saying is, like, I guess the father put so much into him, but then it just went off to something else. And him saying that when things happen, he becomes isolated, and he even feels, you know, pushed out because now the baby is here. So I guess alluding to the fact that now that baby Dean is here, he's not getting all the time and affection from Ashley. And that would be good and all if Michael did not have patterns of misconduct going seasons back, even to the point where just recently a video has surfaced of Michael grabbing someone's rear end. I don't know if it was a cameraman or if it was Katie's fiance / boyfriend at the time. I don't know, but he's had these different indiscretions. It would be different if this was a one-time thing and it was isolated, where you could just say, yes, since the baby's been here, I felt this way. But what about all those other times? You can't blame that on y'all having a child. But okay, I mean, whatever's clever. So Wendy lets us know that she's not inviting Monique to the sip and see because the other ladies said they don't want to be around her. What I'm going to say is that I have pause for that, because I'm gonna be honest, that shows somebody that is very, very weak-minded. It'll be different had she said that she was not inviting her because she does not want to. But to say that you're not inviting this person because of how because these other people don't want them there is a problem. Had she said, I don't want her there because the last time we were all together, this is what happened, and I don't want to risk another situation like this happening at this party that has nothing to do with us, but it's all about my baby girl. These are things that for me would be accepting. But the fact that you're not doing it because these other women, which it's not these other women, it's only 3 women, and I'm just gonna go off on a limb and just say it's 2 women because Robin only follows behind Giselle. So you don't want them there because Giselle and Candace, more or less Giselle, because she has aligned herself with the Green Eyed Banshees. So this is what we're doing. And I'm not gonna lie, she's intelligent and smart enough to know, like, okay, these are the quote-unquote it girls. I need to somewhat be close to them, almost like on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, how most people tried to suck up to Nene because, okay, I need to make sure that I'm here for another season. I just don't like that. I just don't like that. Karen and Ray go out for a walk, and what is interesting is he's putting out Halloween mannequins, and it's kind of crazy how this is lined up with right now, because you know Halloween is right around the corner for those that celebrate it. And while they're on the walk, it was a clip going back to the discussion that they had of him saying that he doesn't know if he's in love with her, and her even saying to him, I appreciate your honesty, but I don't have to like it. And that right there is, for me, very important, because it shows within a relationship, even though their communication is lacking, but being able to express, like, I appreciate the fact that you are being honest with me, because that is what we should be asking for in a relationship, is don't tell me what I want to hear. I don't need a yes man, woman, or whatever. I need the truth. But she's justified in saying, but I don't have to like the truth, or maybe it's the way that it was delivered. It was actually what he said. But on the walk, he says, no, I'm sorry, she says that she's not the same woman that he married, and she's aware of that. She's gained so much success, and he said that we have worked hard for. So I found that to be interesting, that he's not going to let her just take all of that, where he has to push himself in, which I'm not saying that he hasn't contributed to the success that she has. I'm not saying that he hasn't, but I'm like, dang, dude, could you let her have that? Because I guarantee you he would feel a way if he starts talking about his success and she does that to him, because from what we understand, she took money out of her account to give it to him so he can get that tax situation under control. But that's not here nor there. She wonders if he is intimidated by her success, and he just says that, you know, the bottom line is he's not getting what he feels or he thinks that he deserves in terms of attention. and he wants to grow with her. He wanted that the fame and fortune has gone to her head. She's like, oh no, I'm very proud, but has it gone to my head? No. But they both do agree that they need to work through some things and get better communicating. But she did throw a slight dig, because I think it was some doe, those things. I don't know the plural. But I believe that's what we saw. It was either that or some doe, but I believe it was some doe. Deer, whatever, y'all know what I mean. I guess play roughhousing, whatever. And she said, look like they fight over there. Look like somebody to be fighting for something. I was like, well, goodness gracious. I called it. Did you catch it? So we have Candace on the phone with Dorothy, who is her mother, which is funny that they just doesn't say her mother, but whatever. She's going to give a testimony, and she says she was left with no choice, especially given the fact that someone doesn't feel any remorse for what they did. Now, oh crap, are they trying to do another raid? I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody is trying to... It's raid hour in Pokemon Go, and currently, my friend who was in a different time zone than I, it's that time for him, and he said there's 20 minutes left on one, and I'd already missed one, so yeah, I need to keep this like right next to me so I don't miss it, because I missed the last one. I feel kind of bad about that, and I can't get my phone to just stay up. Okay. But she said she was left with no choice, and because Monique does not feel remorseful, that I guess this is a course of action. Now, first off, there's always a choice, so let's not say that. With the whole Monique not feeling remorseful, though, at the time, that is exactly what Monique said, and yes, there are other people there to back up that story. But I'm also one where I will want to hear that for myself, because I try not to go by hearsay, especially in making a decision such as this. But whatever. And she begins to tear up and everything. We're getting that a lot. What I'm going to say is, when it comes to this, in my opinion and from what I've seen, it seems like this is what her mother wants her to do. Because her mother had pretty much said that, you can't just do something and there be no repercussions. Because yes, Karen said if it was her, this is what she would have done, and Giselle saying the same thing. But for someone like her mother, who actually has a whole lot of space rented in her mind to say, this is what this is, that's exactly where she's going with it. Now, let me be very clear in saying that I probably should check my passes too. I'm sorry, y'all. I am multitasking. Okay, yeah, I got enough. Cool. So, I'm a firm believer of, you can't sit here and do something to somebody and then get mad at the way that they respond. Truly believe that. So when it comes to Monique, yeah, Monique felt that she was being, disrespectful and whatnot, and that's the way that she chose to respond. Cool. When it comes to Candace, it is the same exact thing. But I don't believe that this is all. I don't believe that this is truly what Candace wanted to do. Now, the only thing that I really have a problem with is the fact that there is no, like, I don't feel that Candace is owning up to her part in any of this. And I know some people will say that she doesn't have a part to play, but I have grown to where when situations happen that I'm a part of, that I analyze it to every bit of it. And even to the point where for 9 times out of 10, that I have some fault in it. It's very seldom that something happens and I have absolutely no fault in, it just happened. Like if you just say hi to somebody and all of a sudden you get attacked. You didn't do nothing there. But in this particular situation, yes, you use your words, which like I say, I use my words too. I trust me, my words can sit here and make somebody want to fight me. But again, I grew up knowing that with my mouth the way that it is, either A, I better know how to fight, or B, I better be willing to fight. But at no point has she said that, you know what, though I didn't deserve what I got, had I done X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. She has thus said that on an after show, because Andy had asked her, did she contribute? And she said, I could have done what I did the other time, so I will give her that. But within the midst of the show, we're not seeing it. Okay? So we have Robin. She's selling hats. So far, she's made $10,000 doing that. She brought up that she did real estate and whatnot. I just wonder, is she still doing real estate? Because I'm just saying, you need your hands in as many bucks as possible to get this dang on debt down. And her boys are helping her. Then we have Candace meeting with her friend Clifton. He asked her about what's going on, so I'm going to just hit the key points. She says that she said for Monique to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. She says she wakes up in a panic, and she has posted notes up that says, it's okay, you'll be okay, and she begins to tear up. And then she says to him that she wants the social media posts and comments and all that other stuff to be used as evidence because she feels bullied, she feels attacked, and she also feels that Karen is erring on the side of caution and she doesn't have her full support. So here's what I have to say to all of this. So Monique, her wanting Monique to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, she has every right to do that. I mean, if this is how you felt, this is how you felt. Again, yeah, Monique, ragtag that butt. It is what it is. So this is what you did. So in response to that, you can't tell her what to do in return, like in response to that. And I'm going to be right back because I just got invited to, well, actually, I can still talk while this raid is building up. So, and I wonder if I healed my team. I'm about to see. I did. So I understand that you can't do something and this not be the result. And also on one of the after shows, Monique had said, did she, along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, did she consider the fact that I have kids and all this other stuff? And here's one thing that I'm going to say. That's not Candace's job to consider none of that at all. And she had met with Karen past season when, I forget what happened, but no, I think it was involving her little stint with Robin. And she said, I had to, collect myself because, she just not going, her and Juan not going to live in my house. I got kids and, all of this other stuff. So how is it that in a moment like that, you can think about, your livelihood, your children and everything else, but you can't think about it in this particular instance? I have a problem with that. And me being in the military, especially being a non-commissioned officer, well, even just being a soldier in general, I've seen a lot of soldiers go on the red carpet and talk to their commanding officer because they've gotten into some type of trouble and use the thing, well, I have a family, I have kids, I have this and I have that. And they've said something that I've always uttered to a lot of my soldiers, where you knew you had a family, you knew you had this, you knew what you were in here working for, you knew what all you had at stake and on the table before you did what it is that you've done. So you can't sit here and ask for me to sit here and consider something that you didn't consider, because had you considered it, we wouldn't even be in this particular situation. So I wholeheartedly understand. And again, when it comes to Monique saying, did she consider, that's not her job to do, sweetheart. That is your job. And I mean, you have to realize, especially as adults, especially when you get into your late 20s and once you hit your 30s, you can't expect for everybody to sit here and handle a situation in the manner in which you would do it. It doesn't always work that way. And also, you might fight with your hands, they fight with their words. And I mean, hey, she's using the legal system. You can't be mad. I mean, it is what it is. I just wish that this decision was solely what Candace wanted to do and not what someone else had suggested that she do. That's all I'm going to say about that. Raid done. Beat the Guillotine. Just got to catch it. All right. And so there's that. her saying that she wakes up in a panic. Y'all already heard me say that I really do feel that she's milking it. She's using certain buzzwords, certain choice words, you know, to build a case, because obviously the season, some of the confessionals and everything was used as evidence. So of course, paint yourself in a certain way. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have any, you know, PTSD, any trauma or anything from the situation. I'm not saying that, but again, I can tell when someone is milking it. I can. And again, she might actually be feeling it, but I'm sorry, it's that other part of me that just doesn't believe the bullshit. And then her putting up these post-it notes, and of course, Bravo, you know, showed us that she was doing it. Again, it's just, you're literally painting the narrative. It was the same thing that I said in a Trending Topics video where Rob was painting Black China to be a certain way. He was using a whole lot of buzzwords to try to make her seem as unstable and an unfit mother. Like, people know what they're doing. Okay, people know what they're doing. And then she says she wants the media to be used as evidence because of all the bullying, but at the same exact time, even though this doesn't have anything to do with the prosecuting in China, and the case has already been thrown out, so it doesn't matter. But Monique can do the same thing with you doing the same thing when it comes to Giselle and when it comes to Ashley. Can do the same exact thing. So there's some hypocrisy there. And she feels that Karen isn't on her side. Now here's the thing, she didn't say Ashley, which I know why she wouldn't say Ashley, but Karen clearly says that she is in the middle. She doesn't want anything to be, she doesn't want to be involved, but she even went so far as to let you know, hey, this is what I would do because that is what you asked her. But what she wants is, you can't tell me that Giselle is not in her ear, was coaching her because they're trying to sit here and get her pushed off the show. You can't tell me that that is not what's happening, because from what I see and from my vantage point, it is. But again, I understand all of this. And here's the thing, am I saying that Candace is wrong for what she's doing? No. And me trying to do parallels of her behavior and all this other stuff, it is not me trying to defend any which person, but trust me when I say I understand both sides. I do. So it's a lot, and I know this review gonna be long, but whatever. This is what y'all come here for, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we have Wendy. They're at a museum type place, or an art museum, something like that. Looking at the space, 'cause that's where the symphony is going to be held. Eddie, who is Wendy's husband, I believe he said his son name is Carter, had said to him that he liked his beard. Does his granddad have one? And just that question has had him to I guess rethink the whole whether or not he wants to extend an invitation to his family to come to the sippancy. He goes ahead and reaches out via text to the mother, which I'm kind of like, because if you have the ability to call, that is probably the best thing. And I hope this doesn't trigger anybody. If it does, I really don't care. But I'm going to say that his parents are probably boomers, because damn it, mine's are. I'm my mother's last born child, and I'm not even gonna go that far into how she was when she had, that ain't perfect. But what I'm saying is, I understand how it is with, you know, parents and the whole contacting and all this other stuff. So the fact that he didn't call, that makes me feel a kind of ways. It really does. But I do appreciate him extending that invitation. And he had even mentioned about whether or not if he wanted to open that wound. And this is where it gets tricky, because though he's doing this for his children, it's also that whole, how many times do you open yourself up to be hurt? How many times do you subject yourself to this type of pain? And trust me, I know this type of pain, not necessarily in this degree, but you know, with my relatives for many years, hell, that might have to be a separate video all in itself. But me, you know, not like at one point just being the black sheep by default, and then choosing to be the black sheep, trying to come back into the fold, it not working, and then going off and doing my military time and just not really caring. Now that I'm back, it's that whole, should I reintegrate despite the fact they want me to? But it's a whole lot with that. And for me, it's like, do I really open that cavity yet again? and run the risk of them putting manure in that cavity, closing it up, and then expecting me to be okay. So I just hope that I wish the best for Eddie. I really do. Ashley meets with Uncle Lum, who is her father figure. Sheila comes in wearing an eye patch. I don't know where she was going. But one thing that kind of messed my head up is she had said that it was oozing. And my thing is, if it was oozing, I don't know if it still is. But if that is the case, why in the flying, you know what? Why do you have your hands on this baby? I don't, okay, I don't know what's going on with Ashley and Sheila, but I mean, I'm still getting the itches over that because that didn't sit right. That did not sit right. That's almost like your mama saying, "Oh yeah, I got a small little coat," and then still grabbing the baby. Like, hold up, no, we don't do that. Ashley shares their therapy session. Uncle Lum says pretty much that the focus needs to be Dean life. Yeah, I hear he got all these problems and whatnot. I'm paraphrasing here, but you know, fuck him and his feelings. His feelings and everything right now ain't important. The baby is. And even said so much as the fact that he's done this, you know, it was something intentional that he did, and he needs to have the willpower in himself to not do it. And he wants to see Michael, so it appears that Uncle Lum won all the smoke. All right, so let's close this out. So Wendy and Eddie, right before the sip and see, he says his mom didn't respond. We get to the sip and see. Robin is early, and she has had patterns of being late. She got there at 6. Wendy got there at 7. Now, when she was there were only 2 other people there, and Wendy was like, "I don't know why you showed up early. I'm Nigerian." And all this other stuff, you should have showed up at 8. And one thing I'll say is, if that is indicative of the culture, that's something you probably should have shared with her. Probably. But there's a good chance they probably told her to be there early because she's late to everything else. I don't know. On the way there, Wendy and Eddie, well, Wendy gets the alert that Monique has been charged with 2nd-degree assault. Now we're back at the sip and see. And I actually got those kind of out of sync, but whatever. So Karen, Monique, and Giselle are talking, and the charges get brought up for the first time. And Giselle is eating that shit up, and Karen has to excuse herself, which I can understand that because, okay, this is my friend. I don't want to sit around where people are bashing said friend. And I've been in similar situations. You know, like where a group of people that I'm cool with and cool with somebody else, you know, all that I did is just say, hey, I'm cool with this person. Could you please refrain from talking about them? And they kept doing it. Nothing against them because they had every right to do so. I just removed myself because I wasn't finna sit here and, you know, go back and forth with people over what, you know. Wendy had made a statement. I'm pretty sure this was in the confession where she says you are only as successful as your child, and that is why she has been working as hard as she has, and she is apprehensive about quitting being a teacher, which that's fine, but you cannot hold yourself enslaved to the expectations of your parents, because if their success lies solely upon your success, then it should just be whatever you're successful in, not necessarily a title. But again, that's her boat to row, it ain't mine. Wendy is calling out people for not wearing pink. That was funny. During part of the formal ceremony, Wendy calls up women that she would like for her daughter to embody. She calls up her mother and her sister. They make it rain because that's a part of the tradition, making it rain on the baby. And while the girls are over the food, most of the girls, especially, she's like, well, what's this? What is this? What is that? That is so annoying. And I'll be honest, that is insulting. And I understand that people are not always, they're used to one particular style of cooking. Because I know that for family functions, when I would go, I would bring dishes from other cultures. And I'd be like, well, what's this? All they had to say is that I made it, they were eat it up. But it's just like, try it. If you don't like it, just move the hell on. You know, but to do that, be so vocal about it, it's being recorded, and there are other Nigerian people there, like, you low-key are insulting their culture. Yes, you're just asking, but in the way that it was done, it was so tasteless. So the girls at the table, Wendy is not at the table with them, so it's all the girls but You have Candace's husband there, which I can see her bringing +1. I'm trying to figure out why Candace's mother was there. Now, on one hand, I don't understand. On the other hand, I know exactly why she did it. She did it for backup. Point blank, NV period. You can't convince me otherwise. Giselle brings up the charges. Robin asks the goal for her to go to jail. And Candace says the goal is for her to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And the girl, both Robin and Giselle said, but Giselle, has the bigger voice. She's like, well, we don't want her to go to jail. And Candace's like, we don't. And the mom chimes in and says, you all were there, and it seems as if she was assaulted. And the girl's like, well, yeah, it was assault. And the mother's like, well, then that's it. So that's why the mother was there, to serve no other purpose but to back Candace. Like I said, this decision was not Candace's. This decision was her mother's. You can't convince me any otherwise. Ashley defends Monique. And one thing that the girl said is, were you physically right there when it all went down? And she wasn't. And again, I can understand defending your friend. I get it. Because when it comes to me and loyalty, like, don't bring me a bone. Like, don't, like, if somebody come at me like, yeah, so-and-so said this, the first thing I'm going to say is, well, what did you say? Because if you sat there and listened to people drag me through the dirt, if you sat there while it happened and you didn't even utter to defend me, I have to question you. Because now you're just because, like, how am I to know that you wasn't up there kikiing while somebody's sitting here talking cash money shit about me? You feel what I'm saying? At the same token, if somebody, if it comes up that conversations being had and somebody I know that was there and I approached the person, it was like they started and I walked away, cool, I'm cool with that. But if you bring me a bone, that lets me know that you're willing to carry a bone too, and I'm not for that. So I can appreciate what Ashley did, but when the girl said she wasn't there, she spoke to Candace saying, well, you have been aggressive towards me, and had even asked if she's being paid by Monique. And Ashley says, I'm already married to a millionaire, so yeah, what I gotta do that for? And Candace says, congrats, not for long. And then Chris turns to Candace and tells her to shut up. I get that he was trying to calm his wife. I just don't like that. You feel? Again, I was raised around all women, so words and tone is everything. He could have been like, calm down, bring it down, you're doing too much. But just to say shut up made me feel a ways. And also doing that in front of the other girls, there has been a pattern of them disrespecting her, and the fact that her mother and her husband have shown the group that they don't respect her. It kind of, even though it's not right, but it kind of gives them reason to not respect her either. And Candace says to her, paraphrasing, be careful how hard you defend someone, especially when you don't know what they're really about, more or less in the situation. And we can even use that when it comes to people who are either rape victims or whatever. And you have somebody be like, well, I know so-and-so, they wouldn't do this. And it's just like, honestly, you do only know that one particular side of that person, but you don't know what that person's like in a completely separate, isolated situation. So I do understand that. Karen says that, she's in an awkward, place right now, but she does have the ability to shed light, but she can't right now, which I'll come back to a couple of points. Candace says, I thought you were going to talk to her. And Karen says, I said to her that, you need to say something because, she didn't deserve all of that. Again, so clearly letting the girls know that she is telling Monique, you are wrong again, second time. And Candace says, you shouldn't have to coach a grown woman. Facts. You shouldn't. Robin asks, Karen, has her opinion changed after everything? Karen says, yes, but I'm in the middle, and when this blows over, calms down, I will then give set opinion. The girls stop with the arguing and whatnot. The party's over. Eddie and Wendy talk. Eddie was hopeful, but he was hopeful in terms of his family coming, but he doesn't want to get hurt again. So I'm finna hit some points, starting with the last one. One thing I'll say is sometimes it takes verbal words rather than written words. You know, like I said, right now, like I said, I'm pretty sure my family knows that I do this. So if somebody get mad that I'm saying this, so be it. Right now, I'm not talking about my eldest brother because of, some things that he's done against me, and since I've been home, he's been making gestures, which a lot of them are inflated. And I also know that my brother doesn't do anything without an audience. And he's even, sent a few text messages and invited me to his place. For me, my thing is, what you've done to me. You know your transgressions. And I've said to multiple people, and I've made it clear, I'm not going to his house. I'm not going to be in a small confined space with him until we sit down and have a conversation and air out our issues like two grown men. Other than that, it's not happening. So if by any chance the mother feels violated in any way, shape, form, or fashion, it's going to take more than just text messages. Granted, understanding the gesture, but you're going to need to talk to her. Going back to the girls, I'm trying to see which point did I. So Candace saying, so when Ash said I'm married to a millionaire, and Candace saying congrats, not for long. Was that a dig? Yes, but it goes back to something that I was saying earlier, is finding fault and finding your fault in what it is that's going on. Now, one thing I want to say is this was not the time and the place to have that conversation. Definitely not, because we've seen things go left. And I'm not just talking about violent, but this is supposed to be a joyous occasion. You're bringing something somber to the table. Thank you, Giselle. But this wasn't the time to have it. Now, Ashley did not have to insert herself. So because Ashley inserted herself, that bullet that got shot back at her, it's like, I know people are saying, well, see, that Candace go again. And I agree. Damn, you didn't win for the judge. But at the same exact time, me being me, you come at me with a BB gun, I'm telling you, I'm finna come at you with a semi-automatic. I don't care how small the offense is. It is what it is. Like, especially if you know, and they know how reckless her mouth can be. So if you know, why would you tongue wrestle with her? You know what I'm saying? So there's some fault there. What else? I already talked about me not liking how Chris told her to shut up. And I guess one of the last things is I just don't like how the women are trying to force Karen to pick a side. And I think a lot of this is Giselle. You cannot convince me otherwise, because she be behind the scenes pulling the strings. But that's all I got. It's probably more than I wanted to say, but fuck it, I'm tired. It's what, 10:30. I said I put this video together, give me some sleep, and wake up, and hopefully the Crown Tundra is out so I can finish doing my dang on playthroughs. And if y'all not checking out my playthroughs, please do support your bro. So that's all I got. And yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video.